Yeah, Miss Wilston called today. It's Thanksgiving. Valentine's Day, Thanksgiving we spend together. So every holiday I try to make a big deal out of it because I've been in locked up most of my life, which hasn't been helping me at all with my addiction. Being locked up, the only thing it does is get you clean for sure. But after that, they should, short sentences need to be a lot less than what they are. Couple months, a quarter, maybe that's about it, a quarter of a year to get sober, get you right on the right path so your life isn't completely demolished. Um, when you're dealing with somebody in addiction and being a second class citizen, you really have to understand what you're getting yourself into. There's a lot of criteria that you're going to have to be aware of. Like I have zero trust issues from my past traumatic uh, PTSD situations with the famous pineapple. I call her Strawberry in my book because I wasn't going to give her that much power. Her name is Strawberry in my book, but her real nickname on the street is Pineapple. And if you look up Pineapple, it's open marriage, cuckold, turn of the century, sexual bullshit. And if you read the Bible, bestiality and being an animal is the sign of a demon. So that's kind of where I'm at with all that. But that's Old Testament against the new modern era. I like it when things are a little bit slower and time moved a little easier. I was just nice to her. I said to her, everything's okay. You can always come home. She called it, I'm in my apartment. I just want to come home. And I was like, well, your apartment is your home, I thought. So that being said, home is where you make it. Home is when two people that come together and they are in love or they're familiar with each other to the point where they're comfortable to be able to call it home. I don't know. I've been doing a lot of thinking about this whole thing, an addiction, and Oregon's got it figured out. Switzerland does too. Having your family come there to see you while you're locked up, and lowering divorce rate and recidivism rate tremendously. Love is the most powerful drug known to man. For that being said, I go through addiction on Oxycontin for 3 months, but I'll never get over my first wife. That's a great example of that. Love can get you to do anything. Quit cigarettes, quit drugs, quit anything. And if you are a good person, you go out there and you have to understand what you're getting yourself into and know that when you walk into the scenario, when you leave, it better be better than when you walked in there. That's the main goal that I have is every time I get involved in somebody's life, I want them to leave in a better position than they were in. I just I just it's interesting as a recovering drug addict to see how much the system has changed. It's getting better. Like another thing I have to say about the justice system here is why kick us when we're already down? Don't kick us anymore. Help us. Help us figure out what the issue is. Do we need a counselor? Do we need to talk to a doctor? Do we need support? There's a lot of studies done with rats where, famous story is that the rat with cocaine by itself would overdose, but a rat with a bunch of other mice and they had a utopia hardly ever overdosed and wanted to die. I ran into one of my friends who I went to high school with and completely out of touch with reality, and you can actively see his aura that he wants to die. He's fighting with his addiction and himself because he has so many demons inside and so many skeletons inside his closet. He wants to become a skeleton. And that's what most drug addicts will do. They will say, I just want to die. I just want to hurt myself. I just want to suicide, and addiction comes hand in hand. So does mental illness. So that being said, when someone's crazy, you put them in a padded room. You don't put them in prison. Um, Somebody's crazy, you give them medication. You don't take their kids away for just being crazy. You know, self medication is is a very, very, very dark time in our American life, and we'll look back in the future and say it was the most darkest time in era modern time because all we did is hurt our own people and make a second class citizen. That's what I am, as a second class citizen. I know I am, because once I am a felon, registered drug addict on the online, I have no more rights to my kids. I got involved with a girl. I ended up almost knocking her up, and she got married to the other guy. And according to North Dakota state law, it's presumed to be his kid. And because I was a felon, all they had to do was say that I was threatening them, and then they got a no contact order, and then they started pushing me away from their house, and they took the kid and ran. Um, that's what my book's about, is about how I changed treatment in North Dakota, and because I'm a felon, and how hard it is to be a normal citizen and not be screwed over by everybody. Um, my book is very interesting, and I'm going to throw it in with a little bit of MA, like NA and AA. I'm trying to make a new branch on the recovery tree. And yeah, I did change treatment forever in North Dakota and in the Midwest of America. And I'm trying to change it in federal facilities, because rugby is a federal facility that denied me my treatment while I was in Ward County for 7 days. You move me over to another jail, and then you deny me my medication, and I almost died. I'd call that attempted murder, wouldn't you? That's what I would be charged for if I was taking care of an old man in here and I didn't give him his pills and he died or got seriously injured or hurt. I would be subject to that responsibility. So why isn't our justice system? You know what I mean? There's so many things that I have to say about it that it's just cruel and unusual. Like civil and criminal, what's the difference? There's a lot of difference. If you miss civil court, automatically default wins to whoever showed up. If you miss criminal court, you get a warrant and you still go to prison. You know what I mean? It's just, there's so many things that would make you scratch your head, and the laws are cock and dickers. And let me tell you what, if your significant other says, "What else can you bring to the table?" Don't answer that one. Anyway, it's stressful. And the main thing is to slow down and to learn how to love yourself, because you can do it. And you just have to believe in yourself. It is a lonely road, it's a hard road. And if you really truly want to get sober, it's not easy by any means. Everybody in your life will become jealous, controlling, destroy, steal your time, ride your sobriety. All sorts of things will happen in your life. And until you walk a mile in anyone's shoes, you have no idea what their feet feel like. My feet are very calloused. I'm tired of being tired. Been tired for a long time. I just wanted to say thanks for following me, and thank you guys. I wish I could uncensor some of this stuff. I wish I could be more honest and more real, but I don't know how much trouble I want to get in and how much I want to stir up. Um, I'm There's good and bad in every color, and I'd like to say that I'm a good person. I know I am, for I want to go to heaven. I died for an hour on the operating table at 7 years old. And honestly, a angel had appeared, and I had an out of spiritual event that happened while on the operating table, and I write about that too as well in my book. But with a little bit of God and a little bit of good in your life, you can accomplish a lot. And I honestly did. I can honestly say that I have beat the needle, and my hard addiction to hard drugs such as heroin and opiates was all because of God. I had a spiritual awakening one night. I had a great story to tell. I blessed the entire basement. I prayed for hours on my hands and knees. And I'm very involved with the church, even though I say words that make it seem like I'm not. But I do believe in the church. I do believe in good and bad, and I do believe in a higher power. I just think that the church is just like a tree, a family tree. It all has a trunk, and they all come together to one. Like Lutheran, um, Catholic, all of them all come from a trunk of a tree. Even the Normans are part of that tree. But we need to water that tree, and we need to make sure that we take care of each other, because that's what makes us different from being an animal. That's what makes us human, is having empathy and being able to understand what your natural desires are and being able to say no because you care. You care about the other person's feelings and you care about the future. Remember, you cannot worry about yesterday um, or even today. You got to worry about tomorrow. And when you wake up in the morning, look in the mirror and remind yourself, you are worth it. We are worth it. And we don't want death to come any time sooner than before. Just like my good friend, my high school buddy said, my girlfriend's a cop. She involuntarily put me in 3C. I said, she ain't no cop. She just wants the guy that she met the first time, and she don't want you to die. She loves you. It's a hard love, a hard way to understand that as a drug addict. Anyway, remember, go green and try to save a life today if you can, or make a change for the better.